fear, uncertainty, doubt. The market is crashing. Freak out. Run. Sell everything. No! If you're watching this video in the future, you have to understand this is the mindset of people yesterday. I'm going to show you what's been happening to DeFi Kingdoms over the past few months. We have, I made a video right there on 12/17 saying that DeFi Kingdoms was the best bet in crypto, Jewel specifically. And from that moment, 2.5 weeks later, we had a like over 2x, almost 3x run to all-time highs on January 5th. And then we had the entire crypto market exploded at the same time that a bunch of issues hit DeFi Kingdoms, and a combination that led the price to retrace all the way back to $8 that it is right now, which was the price it was when I first made that video. So the majority of the reason for Jewel's correction was because of the macroeconomic climate in general and people being afraid about the stock market crashing, because equities are quite correlated to Bitcoin right now, and Bitcoin is also quite correlated to altcoins, including Jewel. So when Bitcoin crashes 40%, altcoins almost always crash 50+%, and that is what happened. So Bitcoin has been ugly for quite a while. So you're probably wondering, if you're watching this a day or two after I made this video, what do I do with Jewel? Because the market's crashing, people are predicting things are going to go down before they go up. Jewel has, since the all-time highs, since the euphoria, has been selling off disproportionately more than most altcoins that it's been competing with. Most people are obviously comparing from all-time highs, but from that moment, it has done quite bad. And this video, I want to share my thoughts about how to think when everything is going to shit, when fear, uncertainty, and doubt is at a maximum, and how Jewel fits into that big picture. Do I think it is still a good bet? Am I still planning to bet on it? What have I done? All these issues I'm going to discuss in the video. So I wanted to share my theory as to why Jewel is selling disproportionately off more than the other altcoins in my bags, and probably the other altcoins in your bags, which is scary. It's sad, I know. Hold on to your horses. Reason one is Jewel is a hyperinflationary token. They're emitting a lot of Jewel every single day. So, assuming there are no new people coming into the game and no new money is coming into the game from people that are already there, everybody who's already there is getting more tokens, and therefore the individual value of the token is going down. So all things being the same, Jewel is requiring a increase in player base in order to sustain its price, but you're being compensated for that with absurd APRs. So when you're comparing how good of a buy Jewel is, you can't just like look at its price compared to other projects. You also have to see how much APR am I getting for Jewel? Am I being compensated for this inflation, right? Number two is there was a lot of issues related to the Harmony Network and DeFi Kingdoms, but more the Harmony Network, right around the time of its all-time highs. And it caused a real, it took the wind out of the sails of the game, and it created fear in people that were already probably overexposed to the game, which leads into the third, and my theory being the biggest reason, is that you can't really look at, okay, how well has Jewel done from all-time highs to now? Okay, it's doing worse than other projects from that point. You have to look at like quite a bit back. You have to look at how people have done in this project overall. So what would probably happen is that most people who were in DeFi Kingdoms at that point had made a good amount of money off of DeFi Kingdoms, and their portfolio was disproportionately weighted from a risk-adjusted standpoint to Jewel. So when shit hits the fan and people start getting scared, the first thing that people will likely sell off are tokens that they're overexposed to that are high risk, which is almost going to be unanimously Jewel. So I went on a bit of a tangent, but I want to bring it back to the second reason, which was right around its all-time highs, we had a lot of issues happening with the game. The primary of which was the tavern was not working, which is the place that you buy and sell heroes. The tavern listed heroes that were sold over the past 4 days as still available, and it was unintuitive to figure out if you could buy or sell a hero. Anybody new to the game that was going to go into the general Discord, they would see people complaining about the tavern issue. And the tavern is probably one of the more appealing aspects to anyone who likes to speculate on NFTs or buy or sell. It looks unprofessional, unfortunately. So I could go into how severe I think the tavern issue was to the growth of the game, but it's not too relevant, just the general conclusion. Also, the Harmony was having very serious issues with questing. There was a day and a half where you couldn't quest at all. There was probably a week at least where you had to switch between all these servers. Like I have 3 different servers, Harmony Fuzz, Harmony Main Pocket Zero, and Harmony Main Neck, that I was constantly switching behind and refreshing for over a week, making the experience kind of annoying. So all of that was making the established player base annoyed and complaining, and that was turning away anybody that was looking at the game, that was looking at the Discord and evaluating if this was a good buy. And that happened right when shit hit the fan on a macroeconomic sense for the main stock market and for Bitcoin. So what that did was it took the wind out of the sails of a game that is very, very appealing when the number's going up, when it looks like free money to people that don't understand the full tokenomics. But the inverse of that is also true, that when everything's crashing at an accelerated big rate, it looks really scary to somebody that doesn't really know anything about the game and the tokenomics. So all of those issues now have been fixed, I believe. The tavern is smooth as butter and silk mixed together into one kind of superly smooth ingredient. But now we're in an environment that fear that the game is just going to completely disintegrate into nothing and everything's going to sell is prevalent. So I de-risked a little bit, but I'm going to be getting back into the game a lot over the next week, month. That's probably the time frame that I'm looking to DCA in. If the price goes down to $6, I'm going to be buying quite a bit. That's my target point. If the price stays the same, I'm going to put a little bit more back into the game. And if the price skyrockets, I'm probably not putting any more back into the game. But all of the jewel that I'm translating from my locked jewel to my unlocked jewel, I am going to keep in the game. So that's my plan. So I'm sure a lot of you are afraid right now and you're trying to figure out, do I invest more in this game? Do I invest at all in this game? Do I sell everything? Do I HODL? And I wanted to share that I am still very bullish on this project in the 5 months range. I don't know if it'll crash right now, if it'll keep going. The price trajectory, I'm pretty unsure about. It definitely is a very volatile tokenomic experience, so it could go quite low, but overall I think the P&L and the expected value is going to be very high getting into this project. There are 3 main reasons for that. One is the dev team is A++. That is so important for a game that is promising a lot in the future, and its value is partially dependent upon what it will bring in the future. Bet on teams in that situation. 2, there's a lot of floor protection built into this game. That, I mean, there's a lot of people who are currently not in this project or who are only partially invested in this project that would invest a lot more if the price crashed, because there's a game here, but the price is preventing some of the market from playing it. So as the price crashes, more of the market can play the game, which will curb it from completely crashing. It's good enough that people will still want to play it. Also, people get very invested into the game and get emotionally attached to their NFTs and their heroes. Because the price goes low doesn't necessarily mean that people will stop wanting to quest, or probably in the future when the game gets more properly implemented, do combat, PvE, things like that. Once they've invested, say they've already put in 10 grand for all their heroes, they're not going to just stop playing. Some will, most won't. So that has a very solid protection layer at the bottom. All you need is a run of, say, the market sentiment gets a bit better, APRs are looking higher, price is going up because, say, some celebrity influencer tweeted out about DeFi Kingdoms or whatever, it got featured on some interesting game platform, and then you will get that run that we got before, and everything will start back up again. So you have a solid floor and a room to explode. 500 million in the grand scheme of their vision, 500 million is the current TVL or so, is still very small. Easily go up another 4x in TVL over the course of the next 6 months if things go decently well. The final reason is that the game is really, really compulsive. And by that, I mean it sucks you in to do it even if it's not necessarily that fun. Which is very good for getting people to stick around for the long term of the project and getting people to double down and invest in the project, even if it isn't financially prudent to do so. So maybe be careful if you have like a gambling problem and you want to prevent yourself from getting too into it. But if you're looking for something to invest, I personally would love to invest into a really good casino. And I really think the summoning aspect of this game has so many good gamble properties when you consider how much you can make from it, and the excitement of pulling a mythic rare when you invest $1,000 into a summon or something like that. So I am personally completely addicted. I think about this game way too much, and I guarantee you other people do too, which will make people overinvest and provide a floor. So that's why I'm super bullish on this game, and I continue to invest. So you're probably freaking out right now, and you're trying to figure out, should I get back into Jewel? Should I sell? But you have to remember why you're in cryptocurrency for the first place. Or I hope you think rationally about the risk that you're taking on. There is a lot of volatility in crypto. If you are looking to make 2x, 3x, 10x, 100x gains, like 50% drawdowns are nothing when you look at that range of possibilities. If you want to compare that to any sort of traditional finance risk return, you absolutely have to expect multiple periods of 50 to 80% drawdowns. Every single time that 50 to 80% drop will happen, there will be a good reason for it that is scary, that might get worse. You will watch the momentum of the price go down, and you're going to watch people freak out in reaction to that happening, which is especially scary because the only way that crypto exists is if other people assign value to it. So if you see everybody else freaking out, you're like, oh crap, this is going to be worthless if everybody thinks this way, which is true, but the likelihood of that happening is so small. There are so many diehard, passionate fans of cryptocurrency that are going to create a bottom for it. There are so many greedy people that have made their identity around it, that have built accounts up that for 6 years talking about crypto. NFTs, all that are in our public discourse, Saturday Night Live's talking about them. Every celebrity has an opinion on them. There's corporations, governments that are increasingly buying into crypto over time. As the older generation dies off and the younger generation represents a higher percentage of the financial system, more of them will understand crypto and be more interested in getting in it. Crypto shows all signs from a large time scale perspective of growing over time. That doesn't mean that you won't have periods of extreme fear. And if you want to capture the gains that happened when it hits the bottom and there's a sharp rise, which happens every time. It's never bottom and then just hangs out there. There's always people that capture solid 5, 10%, 20% gains right from that moment. You need to be able to weather the storm and not buy high and sell low. So in conclusion, I know people love price predictions, so I'm generally not a fan of them, but here I think I can give it. I think 1 joule is going to equal 1 infinity US dollars within a year. That's right. That's my final price prediction. You can quote me on that when it happens. 1 US dollar, 1 infinity US dollars equals 1 joule. So if you enjoyed this video and you got anything from it, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to build a following, trying to learn how much demand there is for my content. And follow me on Twitter at Heisenberg with a 3 instead of an E at the end. I'll link it below. Thanks for watching, and get some eggs. Let's go. Let's get some eggs.